Welcome back to the Bullion Breakdown, everybody. This is a Sunday night episode here, and I'm just exploring the channel here, Bullion Breakdown. You can check it out. There's lots of good content. But today's episode, and it's a bit of a rant here because something happened yesterday that has been bugging me. And for anyone that's watched the channel, you know that I've taken a critical view of the community before as it relates to sort of clickbait and thumbnail stuff, and it creeped up and bit me again. So I'm just going to tell a story and take you through a bit of a rant here because it involves Lynette Zang, and I have a friend that's close in my world, and there's very few people that know I have this channel, let alone know that I stack and invest in gold and silver, but this friend in particular is aware, and he's a non-stacker, so not involved at all whatsoever in stacking, but reaches out to me and basically says, I'm ready to, spend a lot of money investing in silver. And naturally I peaked up and was interested in having that conversation. And I was wondering what was behind, this sudden movement towards precious metals. And he begins to explain that he spent 10 or 15 minutes on YouTube, and he was, ready to basically empty his bank account based on the word of this YouTube expert. And I thought, well, who are you listening to, or who are you watching? And he couldn't remember the name, but he was like an Asian name, but she's not Asian. So immediately, here I go, Lynette Zang, and he says, "Bango, that's it." So on we go with the conversation, and he, begins to tell me all about this mythical marketplace named the COMEX, and how it's running out of silver, and how demand is outstripping supply, and he's explaining the whole 9 yards. So clearly he was listening intentfully to Miss Zhang, but also suggested, or was inquiring really, whether I thought silver was going to go to $1,000 an ounce, and when I thought that would happen. So I just thought, oh mercy, like what is going on with this YouTube community, and what kind of stuff is still continuing and going on? So I wanted to take a look at Miss Zhang and maybe poke at the history and the fact that there's very little to no credibility left in many of these silver pumpers that are out in the market. So let's just take a quick look. I explained to my kids that credibility is like a bank account, and you can build it up, but it builds slowly, and there's very little interest. But you can bankrupt yourself of credibility with one major withdrawal. And that's what I'm striking with these silver pumpers in the market, is there's no accountability. And it makes me wonder, like, where is ultimately the credibility for these people? And they have very little of it. So let's just look back over, say, the last couple of years at Miss Lynette Zhang's record here. And if you start maybe with 2 years ago, there was content she was putting out around the global reset. And, the key takeaway there is 12,000 per ounce gold. So you can see, very positive or bullish on the metals 2 years ago, and just off a little bit, though, on those projections. And again, very little accountability as she moves through her prognostication of the precious metal markets. If you look back a year just on YouTube, very bullish again on silver. A lot of talk back then, and we're looking at $10,000 per ounce prediction. So you can imagine, new person in the market, not knowing much, how influential a number like that could really spur on some craziness and some poor actions by buyers in the market. And let's just skip forward to this week, because the madness doesn't really seem to ever end. And there's a new updated prediction. So I guess the 12K gold of 2 years ago and the $10,000 per ounce silver from 1 year ago weren't enough. This week's prediction is for $50,000 an ounce for gold. so and that content, if you look at the thumbnail there, has received over 1,000 views in its first few hours of being published on YouTube. So it's interesting as to what content people sort of navigate towards, what gets pushed by the algorithms, and the more fanatical it seems, the more people want to consume it. I do consume this content. I mean, I'm in the stacking community. Most of everything I watch anyways has to do with precious metals. That's just on my own personal interests. But I just, my feed, you can imagine, is just littered with fanatical thumbnails. So wanted to call out Lynette Zang and bring it back to the story that I began, is how these people can do harm. And I think it's important to check the credibility of the people that you're going to take advice from, because I was happy my friend made the call, and I was happy that I could bring him down to earth and ground him with some more reasonable insights. I'm certainly not a financial advisor, so I don't step into that realm even with my own personal network. But I did sort of offer a different point of view than $1,000 per ounce silver, because I just think it's setting the wrong expectation. So I really appreciate you guys sticking with me on this episode. Listen, watch more. This has been Bullion Breakdown. We'll catch you on the next one. Stay awesome.